A journey of souls. In a time long forgotten, when the world was still young and the veil between life and death was thin, there existed a mystical place known as the Valley of Souls. This valley was neither a part of the living world nor fully in the realm of the dead. It was a liminal space, where souls rested and reflected before moving on to their next life. It was said that those who traveled to the Valley of Souls could glimpse the truths of existence, but such a journey was perilous and only undertaken by the bravest. Chapter 1. The Calling. In a small, isolated village at the edge of a vast forest, lived a young woman named Alara. Alara was known for her quiet strength and wisdom beyond her years, a gift she inherited from her mother, who had been a healer. Despite her gifts, Alara felt an emptiness inside her, a yearning for something she could not name. She spent her days helping the villagers and her nights gazing at the stars, feeling the pull of something far beyond her understanding. One night, as Alara was lost in thought, a voice called out to her from the depths of her mind. It was a soft, melodic voice that filled her with a deep sense of peace and purpose. The voice told her of the Valley of Souls and how it was her destiny to journey there. Alara had heard the tales of the valley, but had never imagined she would be chosen to embark on such a quest. The next morning, she packed her belongings, said her farewells to the villagers, and set out on her journey. As she walked through the dense forest, the air grew thick with the scent of pine and moss, and the light filtering through the trees took on an otherworldly glow. Alara knew she was leaving the world she knew behind and entering a place where the rules of reality no longer applied. Chapter 2. The Guardian of the Bridge. After days of travel, Alara reached a wide, rushing river. A single stone bridge spanned its width, ancient and covered in moss. As she approached, a figure stepped out from the shadows, a tall, imposing man dressed in silver armor that gleamed in the dim light. His eyes were sharp and penetrating, and Alara felt as if he could see into her very soul. "I am the guardian of the bridge," the man said in a voice that was both kind and commanding. "Only those who are worthy may pass. You must prove yourself." Alara knew this was a test, and she nodded, her resolve firm. "I will do whatever is necessary," she replied. The guardian raised his hand, and a soft light emanated from it, forming into the shape of a small, delicate flower. This flower represents life, fragile and beautiful. Protect it as you would your own soul. If it withers before you reach the other side, you will be unworthy. Alara carefully took the flower in her hands, cradling it as she stepped onto the bridge. The journey across seemed endless. The winds howled, and the water below roared, but she focused only on the flower, shielding it with her body. With each step, she could feel the weight of the task, the burden of protecting life itself. Finally, she reached the other side, the flower still vibrant in her hands. The guardian smiled and bowed his head. "You have passed the first test, Alara. You may continue your journey." Chapter 3. The Cave of Memories. As Alara ventured further, the landscape changed. The trees gave way to rocky cliffs, and she found herself standing before the entrance of a dark cave. The air was thick with the scent of earth and time, and Alara felt a deep sense of foreboding. This was the Cave of Memories, a place where souls confronted the echoes of their past lives. Alara entered the cave, her heart pounding in her chest. The darkness enveloped her, and she could hear whispers all around. The walls of the cave seemed to pulse with the energy of countless souls, each one trapped in a loop of their own memories. Suddenly, the whispers grew louder, and the cave walls illuminated with scenes from her past lives. She saw herself as a warrior, a healer, a mother, and a queen. Each life was filled with joy and sorrow, love and loss. Alara was overwhelmed by the weight of all the lives she had lived, all the choices she had made, and all the people she had loved and lost. But as she stood there, watching the scenes unfold, she realized that each life had brought her closer to the truth she sought. Each experience, each moment of pain and joy, had shaped her into who she was. The cave was not a place of torment but of understanding, a reminder that every soul's journey was part of a greater whole. With this realization, the whispers faded, and the cave grew still. Alara walked out of the cave, feeling lighter, as if a great burden had been lifted from her shoulders. Chapter 4. The Valley of Souls. Alara's journey continued until she finally reached the edge of the Valley of Souls. The valley was breathtaking, with rolling hills covered in soft, glowing grass that seemed to shimmer with the light of 1,000 stars. In the center of the valley was a serene lake, its waters perfectly still, reflecting the sky above. As Alara stepped into the valley, she felt a profound sense of peace wash over her. She knew she was standing in a place where the boundaries between life and death no longer existed, where souls came to rest and reflect before moving on to their next existence. She walked to the edge of the lake and looked into its depths. The water was crystal clear, and she could see countless souls drifting beneath the surface, each one glowing with its own unique light. Some were calm and serene, while others seemed restless, searching for something they had lost. Alara knelt by the water's edge and closed her eyes, letting the tranquility of the valley fill her. The voice that had guided her on her journey spoke to her once more. Alara, you have come far, and you have learned much. The Valley of Souls is a place of reflection, a place where souls come to understand their past and prepare for their future. You have seen the lives you have lived, the choices you have made, and the souls you have touched. Now, it is time for you to decide your next journey. Alara opened her eyes and gazed into the lake. She saw her reflection, not just of her current self, but of all the lives she had lived. She understood now that the journey of a soul was not about reaching a destination, but about the experiences along the way, the lessons learned, and the connections made. With a deep breath, Alara stood and faced the valley. She knew that her journey was not over, that she had many more lives to live and many more souls to meet. But for now, she was at peace, ready to continue her journey, wherever it might lead. Chapter 5. The Return. As the sun began to set over the Valley of Souls, casting long shadows across the hills, Alara knew it was time to leave. She had found the answers she sought, but more importantly, she had found herself. The valley had shown her that life and death were merely parts of a greater whole, that the soul's journey was eternal and ever-changing. With a final look at the serene lake, Alara turned and began the journey back to her village. The path seemed shorter now, the challenges less daunting, for she carried with her the knowledge that every step was part of a larger journey. When she returned to her village, the people welcomed her with open arms. They could see the change in her, the quiet confidence, and the deep understanding that now radiated from her. Alara resumed her role as a healer, but she did so with a new perspective. She knew that every soul she touched was on its own journey, and she was merely a GUI.